Alright, YouTube, as most of you probably already know, if you're subscribed to my channel and watching this video, there's really no recourse that the Clinton campaign has, or indeed the Democratic corporate apparatus has at large, to deal with the Wikileaks leaks actually coming out with regards to what happened at the DNC, the DCCC, and they're sort of co-leaking with Guccifer on that one, reflecting the material. The Clinton Foundation, anything related to her tenure in the State Department. It's really an avalanche of material, and it's burying her campaign, but they've thought up a new strategy. And that's how you know that what Wikileaks and all of these others are doing is actually damaging Clinton. At the very least, even if polling doesn't yet quite reflect it, and I think it will begin to over the course of the campaign in the next couple of months, I have a feeling that Clinton's insiders, that is her actual inner circle, her staffers and her team on her campaign and her, official and unofficial advisors, have warned her that indeed, if they don't deal with this fairly quickly, it's going to take a huge chunk out of her support over time. It probably will sink her career. It probably will cause her to lose the presidency. And they have to take measures that otherwise they probably wouldn't take. Of course, the first step was, using the CTR shills online to push the idea that, these emails are just made up. Well, of course, there was never any official statement from the DNC, the DCCC, the Clinton campaign, that any of this material wasn't true. And in fact, if it weren't true, it wouldn't have explained why Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Kaplan and all these other individuals stepped down from their DNC positions. It's quite clear, based on their actions in the wake of the leak, that all of this material is real. It's not altered, it's not faked, they didn't just make it in a text file and then put it on WikiLeaks. It's actually from their campaign, from the DNC. That strategy failed miserably. So the sort of fake grassroots support of Clinton, which is most of the people you talk to online, unless you know them personally, that claim to support Clinton, they're correct the record shills. They get paid to post. Some of them do it frequently, some of them don't. Unfortunately, the wooden wall has fallen around her campaign. Her the soft side of her capabilities, which is sort of the decentralized shilling apparatus that she pays for, has failed completely to protect her campaign. The only thing left in their arsenal, as far as dealing with WikiLeaks thus, is to smear WikiLeaks entirely. Now, the Clinton campaign itself realized, after trying to brand Assange as like a Russian-friendly traitor of the U.S., they realized that the grassroots feedback from criticizing them that way was more or less negative. That is, very few people were receptive. Most people thought it was at least odd, if not outright dishonest, just adding to the problem that Hillary has, which is, people see her as untrustworthy. It doesn't really work. The next step, and probably the final step they can drum up, is, WikiLeaks is endangering gays in Saudi Arabia. It's endangering, women's advocates in Turkey. They're exposing personal info on people online. Now, this is completely and utterly wrong on all counts. Links in the description to WikiLeaks' own thoughts on this. The Saudi leak was from 2015. It has nothing to do with modernity. And it was the Saudi government's material that they didn't themselves even leak to begin with. They simply took this material from the Saudi government, not even, in a subversive fashion, but it was physically there for them to review and criticize at the time. So they posted that. That's the explanation for the Saudi leak there, so-called, because it's not a leak at all. And on Turkey, it was somebody entirely different that leaked the materials, and WikiLeaks just, tweeted about it. And now the DNC and the Clinton Foundation and CTR and all of these sort of democratic corporate machine politic groups have decided that that's sort of the last step. The last arrow in their quiver is trying to make it so people don't pay attention to WikiLeaks or any of these other groups. Trying to brand them as traitors didn't work, so now they're trying to brand them as, they did things that harmed gays and women. Because they realize that the average Clinton supporter, of course, they care about gay rights. They care about, feminism or something like that. The problem being, their attack is completely and utterly false. The other problem being a lot of the WikiLeaks supporters from years ago were Democrats. Because at the time that WikiLeaks first started coming onto the scene, the Democratic Party were seen as the progressive, transparent reformists. So they all flocked to it. The Republicans were seen as the corrupt machine politics party, in the United States at least. So you're going to find fairly few Republicans until fairly lately, when they started unleashing on Clinton, that actually supported WikiLeaks. A lot of them are like, oh, Snowden's a traitor, WikiLeaks, that's not good, Patriot Act, hurrah, it's some great thing, we gotta fight the terrorists. And the Democrats were the ones standing against that many, many years ago. Now they've got the problem whereby a lot of Clinton's own soft supporters pay attention to WikiLeaks, pay attention to Snowden, pay attention to Guccifer and every other whistleblower and leaker in the world, the Russ Tices of the world and so forth. It's going to become an issue for the campaign more and more and more. It's not going away. It's not going to decrease. This is one of the main reasons why I have continuously predicted that Clinton will lose the election. It's not because of her policy proposals. Nobody's going to pay attention to her policy proposals by the time this gets through. And I'll tell you this. This level of activity from WikiLeaks in the last couple of days, specifically geared towards the Clinton campaign, makes me extremely suspicious that the person who tried to sneak into the Ecuadorian embassy was hired by Hillary. And more suspicious, perhaps, that they've already been ID'd and they've got direct ties to the Clinton campaign. I think Hillary Clinton attempted, in some capacity, to have Julian Assange assassinated in order to try to shut him up. Now, it probably wouldn't be the greatest idea for her to do this, because somebody else can just take over running WikiLeaks, number one. It can run autonomously. And number two, he's probably got a doomsday cache of all sorts of stuff that will automatically leak if he doesn't log into some server every 24 hours, if he is killed. But it's fairly clear whoever tried to get into the embassy, probably for the purpose of killing or capturing Julian Assange, it's fairly obvious that it had to be someone with a bone to pick. I can't think of anybody else right now with nearly as much of a bone to pick who would be able to operate in the UK at all. You know, the Russians can't really do that ably. They're not going to bother. It would be an international disaster getting caught doing so. It would be Hillary. You know, she probably had some crack addict staffer who owes her a favor break into the embassy. And that's my own thoughts. Now, do I have proof of this? No. But I don't need any. I mean, look at all the smears that they're directing towards WikiLeaks. This is an accountability firm. This is a whistleblowing site that amalgamates material sent by third parties. It's not like they're having a field day just targeting Hillary Clinton. Poor Hillary, she's so innocent, she did nothing wrong, and now these horrible, evil WikiLeaks folks are trying to get Trump elected. That's not what WikiLeaks is about. They've been active for years before this election even happened. The fact that she has more baggage, more dirt, and more corruption should worry her fans. Not entice them to say, oh, WikiLeaks, traitors, evil, they love Trump or something. They've gone after Russia. They've gone after the Saudis. They've gone after Turkey. They've gone after practically every flag under the sun. And now you choose this particular moment because they go after your chosen candidate who you think is beyond all reproach to say that there's something wrong with what WikiLeaks is doing? That's funny. You thought it was great years and years ago. But now all of a sudden, because the juiciest details available are all of the crap on Hillary Clinton, and they choose to primarily fixate on that for a while. Oh, well, evil Assange. I even saw people bring up, oh yeah, he's a fucking rapist. So, you know, number one, if he were, does that detract from the leaks? He's not the only person in WikiLeaks. Number two, the Swedes threw out the case because there's no evidence he did anything wrong. It's not even why he's in the embassy. He's in the embassy because people want to charge him for espionage. It's exactly like the way people like McCain reacted when the Snowden leaks happened. Oh, well, he ran off to China. Well, obviously, he's a traitor. He's giving our secrets to the Chinese. No, he wasn't. The Chinese already had all of that. They already had all of this material. Are you so dumb that you think that it took the Chinese, of all people, more time to grab the NSA software that was so poorly guarded in the first place that a random black hat hacker collective managed to get a hold of it? Are you insane? You have to be to believe that sort of official cover story for people like Obama and Clinton. No, Clinton is just more corrupt. That's why there's more material there. I'm sure that Wikileaks would love to get a trove of documents on all the weird shit that Trump's doing. He's got a foot fetish, and he's got asthma, and he's got, you know, this fiscal problem, and did business with this emirate or over here or something. I'm sure they'd love to publish that, but if they don't get that material, Wikileaks doesn't spend its time trying to hack government servers. They're releasing material that they're getting from other parties. You can't blame Julian Assange or Wikileaks for the fact that Hillary Clinton has made it the easiest job in the world to obtain damaging, dirty info on her by storing all of this nonsense in the first place on the most poorly secured system she could possibly dream up. And the DNC did the same thing. So trying to go after the whistleblowers, say, oh, they're traitors, something's wrong here, oh, they're partisan. They're not partisan. They also don't solely fixate on the US election. It's like people, because the media is covering it at all, a lot of people are under the illusion that WikiLeaks is a new organization that just barely sprang up and their sole concern is the United States. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It's just not true. It's a complete lie. The so-called Saudi leak wasn't a leak. It was posted by the Saudi government, and WikiLeaks just retweeted the info to criticize the Saudis on their human rights record. What the hell is wrong with that? Oh, they're endangering gay people. It was a government file. The government of Saudi Arabia already had this material. It's not like it was a revelation to them. They're the ones that made it in the first place. On Turkey, these feminists and lesbians... Somebody else leaked that. WikiLeaks just took that material and was talking about the material. Now, the mainstream media is so obviously in collusion with Hillary Clinton right now that it's sad. It's sad that there's anybody who still has any illusions about this whatsoever. Do you think that it's a coincidence that every lamestream US media group right now is assaulting WikiLeaks right after these new leaks that they made? On issues that are, first, not a leak at all from last year, and number two, a non-issue that was leaked by somebody unconnected with WikiLeaks. This is the best that they have? Oh yeah, and by the way, Julian Assange is a rapist. Julian Assange should face justice. He's a terrorist. They enable terror. You sound like a fucking John McCain Republican. You sound exactly the fucking same. This is why I left the Democratic Party. This is why I can't vote for Hillary or any other idiot Democrat. If they're going to act like this, what's differentiating them from the Republicans? From again, like John McCain or Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney looks distinguished compared to some of these people right now. And even Fox is going to jump down their throats. Still corporate machine media. You act as though there's a difference between like the left corporate media and the right corporate media. They're exactly the same. Watch some fucking YouTube figure, some talking head on YouTube analyzing politics. You're going to get a better story than from these idiots. Not in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought, oh, well, look at this. And without fact-checking it at all, by the way, which is apparently what happened with like MSNBC and all these groups. Oh, WikiLeaks is endangering gay people. Well, I can't support leaking anymore. God bless Hillary Clinton. I guess I got to cast my vote for her. They didn't even fact-check this. This is like the total death of journalism. I'm not surprised that TV media and like lamestream media in general, even online, is no longer being taken seriously by people. This is journalistic credibility? This is what passes for news now? It's not news. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's a complete and utter abject lie. It's not like those lies where it becomes just a partisan sort of snowballing argument. People are sparring over, oh, well, this will fix the economy. That tax plan is better. Here's the moral issue. No, this is objective lying. As in, we can look back and see when these things were actually posted and in what form. And WikiLeaks didn't have anything to do with it. In either case, it was the Saudi government and some other hacker, some other leaker. It had nothing to do with them. So, I mean, come on. Get real. I really hope that none of my subscribers watch any lamestream media. That includes like Fox and Breitbart and all these groups. I'm not talking about just, oh, well, you know, supports Hillary, like MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC. All these other groups that support Hillary, most of them do. I'm not even talking about just them. The right-wing media would be just as bad, by the way, if Trump did get elected, ingratiated himself to the corporate establishment Republicans. then they'd be just as bad. The Breitbarts and the Fox Newses and the Blazes of the world, they would shut up about anything that was inconvenient to him. And this has been a continuous problem. Remember the Bush years. Remember what Bill O'Reilly did back during the early days of the Iraq War? I think it was 2005 or something like that, in Iraq. And some kid came on his program. His father had died in Iraq. And he was talking about, well, I think we should end the war. It's pointless. My father basically died for nothing. And O'Reilly was just like, oh, you fucking pinko, fucking pacifistic commie. Your father would be embarrassed. You're a traitor. You're not patriotic. Come on. I don't understand why anybody watches this stuff. I don't understand how they get the salaries that they do. Now, we're obviously not being led by, governed by, or represented by, or given information by people who care about the truth, or who have our best interests at hand. That's fairly obviously the case. And when I see the entire media apparatus, minus maybe a few small groups, not even truly Fox News at this point, openly colluding, failing to fact-check anything, and openly lying for Hillary Clinton, on a day-to-day basis, it makes me frustrated. And it makes me very, very wary, honestly, of her entire party. If the Democratic Party wants to continue hemorrhaging the support of the youth, so that you get the rise of a moderate libertarian movement that displaces the Democratic Party entirely, overthrows them, crushes them into the dirt underfoot, and leaves them withering like a stupid piece of vegetable matter left out in the sun too long, this is the greatest way to do it. Convince people that nothing that the party says is meaningful at all. That nothing is the truth. It's just lie after lie after lie. Good luck continuing to exist. Because they're the agents of their own misfortune. Hillary Clinton's the worst thing to happen to the Democratic Party. People have been fixating for months over, well, will Trump destroy the Republican movement? Will the Republicans lose the Senate? Will the Republicans lose the House? The Republicans will lose everything. They'll never win another election again. I'm here to tell you it's Hillary Clinton and her staff and her collusion and her egotism that's destroying the Democratic Party. And they're the ones suffering right now, not the Republicans. Republicans are suffering a bit. There has been a hemorrhage of some of the old establishment from the party. And it's not clear which side in this struggle is ultimately going to reign supreme. But the Democrats are setting themselves up for short-term gain, and not even by that I mean on election day, in exchange for long-term pain for 2 or 3 election cycles. So if people care about, oh, well, we need Democrats in Congress, you think Hillary Clinton's going to get you that? If she's elected, you wait for her first 2 years in office, my goodness. You'll see a landslide of all landslides in the midterms. And the Democrats will not only lose the House and Senate, the Republicans will probably gain enough support just to impeach her on a whim. They won't even need a reason. They'll say, yeah, we're voting to impeach. Oh, we're voting to force you out of office. Bye. That's what they'll do. They'll get somebody else in there that they can stomach. They'll put Biden in the post, maybe, John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, some idiot like that. Some establishment idiot. It won't be any better. They'll still be part of that same globalized establishment of hand-wringing corporatists. It's not like it's going to change anything. The Republican Party right now is being fronted by a populist. He's not that far removed from the neocons, but he is removed from them. He's managed to piss off the more die-hard sort of money-grubbing elements within the party so that they won't back him. And some of them have in fact endorsed Hillary Clinton. The Democrats here want you to believe that you should shoot the messenger and overlook the fact that Hillary Clinton has been endorsed by people that 4 or 5 years ago the Democratic Party told you were Satan incarnate. So I don't think that that's going to work long term. No, Wikileaks has literally done nothing wrong. It's a complete abject lie. And the media should be ashamed of themselves for even calling themselves journalists at this point if they're not going to fact check these things. They're patently wrong. Only the fact that they still have a hold over a shrinking minority of the population as far as information goes makes it, in their minds, acceptable at all. They're dying off. Somebody pointed out, oh, legacy media, good term. That's what they are. They're the legacy media. 10 years, 20 years down the road, nobody's going to care about these media groups unless they've completely put their material online interactively. If they keep shutting down comments on like Fox and CNN, you think people are going to go there? No. Because that sort of divisiveness, that discord, that the comments from one user to another, it's what drives the attention on these stories. That's what drives the new media. The new media is driven by interaction. What I do, for instance, here on YouTube, I talk. The interaction that I have with people that are watching me talk, the fact that I'm just some dude here with a laptop and a webcam and a microphone, as opposed to somebody in a multi-million-dollar studio in New York City, syndicating my show across 1,000 airwaves, is why I'm doing well at what I'm doing. If I had the journalism degree and the studio, I'd be very worried indeed about my paycheck continuing to come. Because even though it'd be a nice big paycheck, my job would be on the line at any given time because there's no telling if that network's going to collapse entirely because nobody gives a damn about it anymore. That's the problem for the lamestream media. Good riddance. I hope they all go out of business. I hope that in 20 years there is no CNN. There is no MSNBC. There's no Fox News. There's no BBC. There's no Guardian or The Sun. There's no NBC. There's no ABC. There's no RT. They don't exist anymore. It'd be the best thing possible for this world to decentralize the stream of information entirely so that people can look around, find someone who's actually reliable sometimes, get their information from them, again, amalgamated in turn from decentralized sources. I don't use any one media site for my sources. I try to avoid CNN, MSNBC, and all these crap sites as much as possible. If I have to list them as a source at all, I feel like it's been a bad day. I'd much rather use some underground site or even a blog. The Bayou Corn Sinkhole, it was a fucking blog that was posting about this. I didn't get that information from BBC or from CNN. It wouldn't be accurate if it was from them. They wouldn't know what they were talking about. They're not on the ground there. They don't know what goes on in the average life of middle America or anything like that. They never travel. They never leave like New York City. They'll send like some affiliate crew out, and then things get lost in translation and spun, and they get put through the bias room, and then they get smell tested by some editor at large, and then they determine whether they run the story in the first place, and then where to put it on their fucking news blog. Oh, this is bad for our candidate. Put it on page 4. Oh, that's good for our candidate. Put it top headline right now so we can get it viral. It's the way they operate. So no, I strongly support Wikileaks. I don't care who they leak about. If they leak about Trump, I'll report on that too. They say, oh, here's 1,000 pages of Trump bilking people and being a pedophile and rapist and stuff. Yeah, I'll take that seriously. I'm going to assume that it's true. It's coming from a fairly reliable source, and I'll report on it. But that hasn't happened. It can't happen unless some third party forwards that material to WikiLeaks. They're not making the news. They're just reporting it like legitimate journalists, as opposed to the talking heads on MSNBC and Fox and places like that. Screw Bill O'Reilly. Screw Rachel Maddow. Screw all these idiots. Put any halfway sane person up against any of these morons one-on-one in a fair debate, and they'll lose every time. Because they're that fucking stupid, they don't even check their sources. It's like they never went to college. They're never, oh yeah, you need proper sources for this article you're writing for homework. I want 20 pages on the use of cabbages within the medieval era. You need 5 sources. No, Wikipedia is not a source. No, thought it up off the top of my head is not a source. No, editor told me to write X, Y, and Z is not a source. John, go back to fucking college, you morons. That's about all. Peace out.